people, it's me, Anja. My pronouns are she and her, and welcome back to my channel for a new book tag. So today's original book tag is the Traci Chee book tag, because if you didn't know, like Leigh Bardugo and Amanda Foodie, Traci Chee is one of my favorite authors. And also, again, similarly to the Amanda Foodie book tag, I did film this video yesterday, but I'm refilming it today because the rain was a little bit too distracting yesterday. But anyway, I don't know why I explained that. Like, literally nobody cares, and nobody's gonna notice anyway. But the point is, today's video is the Traci Chee book tag because I love her and I think that she's such a genius and she's such an underrated author and her books deserve so much more hype. So I decided to create a book tag in her honor because she deserves it. She deserves the world. Technically she already has the world because her books are so amazing. But anyway, the point is, the first question is the reader. Name your favorite book that was truly unlike anything else you've ever read. So I would say definitely Radio Silence. I love Radio Silence literally so much. I feel like everybody already knows that because I created a Radio Silence book tag in honor of how much I really love it. Radio Silence was unlike anything else I've ever read before in the terms of YA contemporary because it was so friendship focused. I feel like the majority of YA contemporaries that I read are so often romance driven, and I feel like it's so important and it's so timely to have a book that's so much more friendship focused because I think that's so much more important than a romance. You know what I mean? So anyway, my answer is Radio Silence because I love it so much. So yeah. The second question is the speaker. Name your favorite sequel. I have so many favorite sequels. Let me know if you want a video about all of my favorite sequels because I have literally so many. But the first one that comes to mind is King of Fools. I love this book literally so much. It's the second book in the Shadow Game trilogy written by Amanda Foodie, whom we all know I really love. So anyway, King of Fools is literally so good. I love it so much. It's definitely my favorite book in this trilogy, and it's so well done. Amanda Foodie did such a great job raising the stakes and making me so much more excited and more invested and just more thrilling. You know what I mean? Like, this book was literally so good. So with that, I would highly recommend it. So yeah. The next question is the Storyteller. Name your favorite conclusion. So recently my favorite conclusion is Wings of Shadow. I just read this book and it was one of my most anticipated 2021 new releases and it definitely lived up to those expectations. For those who don't know, Wings of Shadow is the conclusion to the YA fantasy trilogy that started with Crown of Feathers. This book is literally so good. I know I just talked about Crown of Feathers in the Amanda Foodie book tag, I believe. I don't know why I just said I believe because I literally just finished filming the Amanda Foodie book tag, so you would think that my memory of filming that video is fresh on my mind. But anyway, if you didn't know, this trilogy starts off with a girl disguising herself as a boy to go join the Phoenix Riders, and I love this trilogy so much, and the plot is like so much more deeper than that, you know what I mean? Like, the plot is so good, the world building is so good, the characters are so well developed and so distinct, the romances are so good. This trilogy is so underrated and for what, and I highly recommend it. So there you have it. Anyway, the next question is, We Are Not Free. Name your favorite Asian historical fiction book. So, thinking about the video that I made about my favorite Asian historical fiction books, one of those books was definitely Last Night at the Telegraph Club. This is a book that's definitely worth all of its hype and so much more. This book is a YA historical fiction book following a young Chinese lesbian in the 1950s, and it's so good. This book is worth all of its hype and so much more. I really enjoyed personally how the author tackled writing about the homophobia and the racism that occurred in the 1950s, because honestly, when I was reading this book, I was kind of afraid that the author would either like brush one of those topics under the rug or something like that, and I really enjoyed how she talked about them both in such a wonderful, eloquent way. This book is literally so good, and I highly recommend it. So yeah. Anyway, the next question is 1,000 Steps into the Night. Actually, I think it's just called 1,000 Steps into Night. But anyway, this question is, name one of the most anticipated 2022 new releases. So definitely one of my most anticipated 2022 new releases is 1,000 Steps into Night, which is Traci Chee's new book. But aside from that, one of them is Survive the Dome. This book sounds like it's going to be so amazing, and basically it's a YA science fiction book following a black queer boy. And honestly, I don't know the details of the plot or anything like that, but I do know that it's written by the same author who wrote Yesterday's History, and I loved that book. Yesterday's History is so good. So I have really high expectations for this one as well. I think it comes out at the 1st of March in 2022, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, there's that. The last question is Traci Chee. Name your favorite Asian author. So obviously I have so many favorite Asian authors, but definitely one of them is Akemi Dawn Bowman. I love her so much. Honestly, maybe I should create an Akemi Dawn Bowman book tag because I love her books so much. I think that she's such a genius. She mainly writes contemporary, mainly YA contemporary. She had a middle grade contemporary debut this year, as well as a YA science fiction book debut this year, so we love to see it. But anyway, the point is that her writing is so exquisite and it's so excellent, and I highly recommend her books if you haven't read them already. So yeah, with that said, that's the Traci Chee book tag. Consider yourself tagged. So if you enjoyed this video, please don't hesitate to give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below the pancakes emoji if you made it all the way to the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel if you're new, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!